Deep inside the endless rivers and dense forests of the Amazon, hidden far from the eyes of most of the world, exists a dark underground reality that few people ever truly see. Beneath the beauty of the rainforest, a place known for its incredible biodiversity and natural wonder, operates one of the largest illegal animal trafficking networks on the planet. To outsiders, the Amazon looks untouched and alive. But behind that image lies a silent black market, driven by greed, rare species, and international demand. The illegal wildlife trade in the Amazon is not a small operation carried out by isolated hunters. It became an enormous underground economy, involving smugglers, corrupt intermediaries, secret transportation routes, and buyers from different parts of the world. Exotic birds, rare monkeys, reptiles, amphibians, and even endangered big cats are captured directly from the forest and sold for enormous prices in illegal markets overseas. What makes this trade especially disturbing is how invisible it often remains. Many animals are taken from remote regions where almost no authorities are present. Hunters travel for days through rivers and dense jungle areas searching for valuable species. Some capture baby animals after killing their parents, while others use traps hidden deep inside the forest. For every animal successfully sold, many others die during transport from stress, dehydration, or injuries. One of the most trafficked animals from the Amazon is the macaw. Their bright feathers and intelligence make them highly desired in illegal exotic pet markets. Baby macaws are frequently removed from nests high in the trees before they can even fly. Smugglers sometimes hide them inside boxes, pipes, or secret compartments to avoid detection during transportation. Monkeys are also heavily targeted. Small species are illegally sold as exotic pets, especially because buyers often see them as cute or unusual. But the reality is brutal. Young monkeys, separated from their families, suffer extreme stress, and many never survive long after being captured. Wildlife experts repeatedly warn that these animals are not domesticated and cannot live healthy lives in captivity under normal conditions. The illegal market expanded over the years because of international demand. Rare animals from the Amazon became symbols of status for collectors, willing to pay huge amounts of money. Some species are bought for private collections, others for illegal breeding operations, and some even for traditional medicine markets in certain regions of the world. What shocks many investigators is how sophisticated the trafficking networks became. Criminal groups learned to use fake permits, hidden shipping routes, forged documents, and online communication to move animals across borders. In some cases, trafficked species travel through multiple countries before reaching final buyers. Despite constant effort from environmental organizations and authorities, the Amazon's massive size makes enforcement extremely difficult. Entire regions remain almost impossible to monitor consistently. The rainforest itself, so vast and complex, became both a sanctuary for wildlife and a hiding place for illegal operations. For local communities, the situation is complicated. Some people living in isolated areas are drawn into trafficking networks because of poverty and lack of economic opportunities. Smugglers often offer quick money in regions where jobs are scarce. Over time, illegal wildlife trade became deeply connected to larger problems involving deforestation, organized crime, and environmental destruction. The tragedy goes far beyond individual animals. Every species removed from the rainforest affects the balance of the ecosystem itself. Birds spread seeds across huge distances, predators control populations, and countless creatures play roles scientists still barely understand. When trafficking removes large numbers of animals, entire ecological systems begin weakening silently. To the world, the Amazon is often seen as the lungs of the earth, a symbol of untouched nature. But hidden behind the trees and rivers exists another reality, one where rare life is treated like illegal merchandise, and where the fight to protect wildlife continues every single day. As the illegal wildlife trade continued growing across the Amazon, entire hidden supply chains began forming deep inside the rainforest. What started decades ago with isolated hunters slowly transformed into a dangerous international network connected to organized crime, corruption, and massive profits. In many regions, trafficked animals became as valuable as illegal drugs or precious resources, creating a shallow economy few outsiders fully understand. One of the darkest parts of this underground market is how young animals are specifically targeted because they are easier to transport and more attractive to buyers. Baby jaguars, monkeys, parrots, and sloths are often taken before they can survive on their own. To capture them, traffickers frequently kill protective parents first. By the time these animals reach illegal markets, many are already traumatized, injured, or dying. The transportation methods used by smugglers are often horrifying. Investigators have discovered birds stuffed into plastic tubes, reptiles hidden inside luggage, and tiny animals drugged to keep them quiet during travel. Many suffocate before reaching their destination. Others arrive severely dehydrated after spending days trapped in darkness without proper food or water. In some secret markets connected to Amazon trafficking routes, rare species are sold almost like luxury products. Exotic birds with unusual colors can reach prices higher than cars in foreign markets. Rare snakes, poison frogs, and jungle cats are especially valuable among illegal collectors searching for animals few other people own. One disturbing curiosity is how social media and encrypted communication changed the wildlife trade. Years ago, traffickers relied mostly on physical black markets and underground contacts. Today, illegal sellers sometimes advertise rare animals online using coded language, hidden groups, or private networks. A buyer living thousands of kilometers away can arrange the purchase of an endangered species without ever entering the rainforest. The Amazon's immense river system also plays a major role in the trafficking routes. Smugglers use boats to move animals through isolated waterways where surveillance is limited. Some villages became temporary transit points, where animals are hidden before continuing toward larger cities or international borders. Because the rainforest covers such enormous territory, authorities struggle to monitor every route consistently. Environmental investigators often describe the trade as a silent crisis, because much of it happens far away from public attention. Unlike deforestation, which leaves visible scars across the landscape, animal trafficking can devastate ecosystems without obvious signs at first. Entire populations of certain species may decline long before scientists fully realize what is happening. Jaguars became one of the most alarming examples. In recent years, demand for jaguar teeth, claws, and bones increased in illegal international markets. Some traffickers treat these body parts as status symbols or use them in black market products. Conservation groups warn that if hunting continues at current rates in certain regions, local jaguar populations could collapse completely. Even smaller creatures play important roles in the ecosystem. Frogs, insects, reptiles, and birds all contribute to the rainforest's balance in ways scientists are still discovering. Removing a species from the wild creates chain reactions that affect forests, rivers, and countless other animals connected to the same environment. Wildlife rescue centers across South America constantly receive traumatized animals recovered from trafficking operations. Many arrive with broken bones, damaged feathers, infections, or severe psychological stress caused by captivity and abuse. Some can eventually return to the wild, but many never fully recover after being removed from their natural habitat. There are also reports of traffickers adapting faster than authorities. Whenever enforcement increases in one region, networks simply shift routes deeper into isolated forest areas. Corruption sometimes makes the situation even worse, allowing criminal groups to continue operating despite official crackdowns. For indigenous communities living inside the Amazon, the rise of wildlife trafficking created additional pressure and danger. Some communities actively fight against illegal hunting and smuggling, while others face threats from criminal groups trying to expand operations deeper into protected territories. In many cases, indigenous people became some of the rainforest's strongest defenders because their survival depends directly on preserving the ecosystem. The most unsettling reality is that many buyers never see the suffering behind the exotic animals they purchase. They see beauty, rarity, or status, but not the violence, death, and destruction required to feed the illegal market. Behind every trafficked animal exists an entire hidden story of capture, fear, and loss buried deep inside the rainforest. And while millions around the world admire the Amazon as one of Earth's greatest natural wonders, an invisible war continues beneath its canopy every day. A war between those trying to protect life and those turning it into profit. Over the years, the illegal wildlife trade in the Amazon evolved into something far larger than simple smuggling. It became a hidden battle over the future of the rainforest itself. Scientists, environmental agents, indigenous defenders, and rescue organizations continue fighting to protect species that have existed for thousands, sometimes millions of years. But the traffickers also continue adapting, finding new routes, new buyers, and new ways to hide their operations inside one of the largest forests on Earth. In some remote regions of the Amazon, entire areas have already become quieter than they once were. Hunters and traffickers often target the rarest and most visible species first, slowly emptying parts of the forest without leaving obvious traces. Researchers call this phenomenon the empty forest effect, a terrifying situation where trees remain standing, but much of the wildlife silently disappears. For people who have spent their lives inside the rainforest, these changes are impossible to ignore. Older indigenous hunters and local communities sometimes speak about areas where bird songs became less frequent, or where animals once commonly seen have become increasingly rare. The forest may still look alive from above, but deep inside, its balance can already be weakening. One of the greatest ironies is that many trafficked animals die before ever reaching buyers. Experts estimate that a huge percentage of captured wildlife never survives transport due to stress, injuries, suffocation, starvation, or disease. For every exotic bird displayed illegally in another country, several others may have already died along the way. The illegal market also fuels a dangerous cycle of cruelty and demand. The rarer an animal becomes, the more valuable it often becomes to collectors. This creates an even stronger incentive for traffickers to continue hunting endangered species. Some buyers are willing to pay enormous amounts simply to own something almost nobody else has. Wildlife rescue teams sometimes describe heartbreaking scenes after major trafficking raids. Confiscated animals are often found weak, terrified, and packed into tiny spaces with almost no movement possible. Some are too injured to survive. Others remain so traumatized that returning them to the wild becomes nearly impossible. Yet, despite everything, there are still people risking their lives to protect the Amazon every single day. Environmental officers patrol dangerous river routes, searching for smugglers. Veterinarians work endlessly trying to rehabilitate rescued animals. Indigenous guardians defend remote territories from illegal hunters entering protected lands. Volunteers care for orphan monkeys, birds, and jaguars that lost their families to trafficking networks. Technology also became part of the fight. Satellites, drones, tracking systems, and international investigations now help authorities uncover smuggling operations that once remained completely invisible. Conservation groups across different countries cooperate more closely than ever before, trying to stop trafficked species before they disappear forever. But perhaps the most important battle is awareness. Many people around the world still do not realize how much suffering exists behind exotic pet trade or illegal wildlife collecting. A colorful bird in a cage may look beautiful to a buyer, but behind that image may exist a destroyed nest, dead parents, terrified transport, and irreversible damage to the rainforest ecosystem. The Amazon is more than a forest. It is one of the most complex living systems on Earth, containing millions of species, many still undiscovered by science. Every animal removed illegally affects something larger: the rivers, the trees, the food chains, and the delicate natural balance built over countless generations. And perhaps the most haunting truth is this: the destruction does not happen all at once. It happens slowly, silently, hidden beneath the beauty of the jungle. A missing bird here, a vanished jaguar there, empty nests, quieter forests, fewer trucks near the rivers, until one day people realize that something extraordinary disappeared while the world was distracted. The Amazon still stands, powerful and vast, but deep inside its endless green shadows, the fight to protect its wildlife continues, not only for the animals themselves, but for the survival of one of the last truly wild places left on Earth.